Congressman Roy, only 40 Republicans voted no on this piece of legislation. It was very highly supported by both sides. Why did you vote no?
Well, first of all, the negotiations were going on all day Friday, and we didn't get to see many of the drafts. K Street got to see the drafts, and many of us were trying to find them. We get the final draft around midnight, and the vote occurred at 12:30. I literally was printing it off and running to the floor to try to figure out what was in it. We knew there were some problems. We had real concerns about putting mandates on small business when there would be a carve-out in the legislation for businesses 500 employees and better. That's the kind of picking winners and losers that I ran against and that we shouldn't be doing in this kind of a crisis, this kind of a moment. So I felt that it was important to vote no to send a message to the Senate, if it got over there, that they needed to improve the bill. Now, as it turns out, the House is working on technical corrections. And what we're seeing is now an 87-page technical correction bill for an 110-page original bill. My friend Louis Gohmert is on the floor of the House objecting to an effort to do it by voice vote because we haven't even read it. We need to slow down right now and make sure today that we get this done correctly. When I say slow down, we ought to get it done. We ought to get it done today, but we ought to get it done the right way. And that's mean to make sure that we've got liquidity, capital, money in the market so businesses can employ people, because you can't have leave from a business that's out of business and isn't actually working.
Right, so that's the very interesting part, and this is a very common objection I've heard from conservatives on the ground. Maybe not Republicans in Washington, D.C., but conservatives and business owners on the ground say, well, this doesn't make sense to mandate small businesses give paid sick leave when that could put them under. They might not be able to legitimately afford that and stay afloat, while exempting big businesses over 500 employees. There is, at the same time, a pretty widespread understanding that we're headed towards an economic issue, if not an economic crisis. If we are going to do this social distancing, if places are going to be mandatorily shut down, and we're going to get to that topic in just a moment, if restaurants and bars and gyms and entertainment venues are going to be forced to close by the government, then a lot of those people in the travel industry as well are not going to see paychecks. They're going to struggle to pay their bills, and that can lead to an economic crisis. What do you suggest instead of what is offered in this Pelosi-Mnuchin compromise?
Well, look, I think what we need to do is focus on cash, focus on tax benefits, cutting taxes, getting liquidity into the hands of the small businesses that are getting hammered. We've got restaurants getting shut down, people getting laid off right here in Austin, Texas, throughout the nation. We've got a responsibility because government is taking action. Government is taking action to tell people to stay home. That is kind of analogous to a regulatory taking under our Constitution. We've got the government stepping in and interfering with commerce and free exercise and free enterprise. We need to put money into the economy, put money into the hands of businesses. We should maybe think about doing a holiday or a suspension of the payroll tax. We should think about getting cash directly into the hands of businesses. And I know there's some conversations along these lines, but that's the way to go about doing it. Stretch the Small Business Administration's loan powers. Give lots of liquidity to businesses so they can actually keep their employees on the payroll. We need to do this quickly. We need to get through this health bump quickly and then get our economy chugging again. We cannot allow this to languish. And what our leadership is doing right now, unfortunately, is trying to legislate by panic instead of legislating as leaders should, calmly and deliberately, to do the right thing.